Our first speaker is Mr. Joms Haboc. He is a business consultant with 8 years of business experience. He owns JGH Group, which includes the following companies: H Bros Incorporated, the company behind Pickup Sticks franchise, JGH Business Consultancy, and JGH Professional Solutions. He has a hands-on experience in being a franchisor for Pickup Sticks franchise, and he also have a hands-on experience in being a franchisee of Federico's Favorite. His field of expertise in business consultancy is business expansion strategies. He develops programs for franchising, distribution, and co-ownership or revenue sharing programs. He also handles consultancy for strategic planning, commissary and production management, financial analysis, and strategies. He also provides assistance to his clients in relevance to digital marketing, for he has a direct experience in this field. He also developed the e-commerce website for Pickup Sticks and JGH Business Consultancy. And he also directly in charge of social media advertising for all of his businesses. And our second speaker is Attorney Maria Asuncion Cabrera-Familaran. She practices law for more than 16 years. She concentrates her practice on civil and commercial litigation and arbitration, corporate, contract, labor law, family, and estate law. She obtained her Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Santo Tomas, Faculty of Civil Law, and passed the bar exams in 2003. And she is currently a partner in Librojo and associate law offices, and she is also a co-founder and legal director of JGH Professional Solutions. She also helps Mr. Joms Haboc regarding the legal strategies for JGH clients, and she also prepares franchise agreements for franchise program development. So our webinar will only last for at least 2.5 to 3 hours. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them down into our chat box. And we will also have time for questions at the end of the webinar. To start with, let's all welcome Mr. Joms Haboc.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you, Miss Daryl. And welcome to our third batch of the Modern Franchising Masterclass. So for this specific webinar, the discussion will be about expanding a business using the franchise model. So we will discuss the different modules of developing a franchise program, and at the same time, the main strategies in relevance to franchising your business or your brand. And then, as mentioned by Miss Daryl, so this will be around 2.5 to 3 hours. And then we'll try to make it interactive, no? So we have several modules of this session. Every end of the session, we'll try to check the questions, and ang iba at the end of the presentation na. So all of the questions, we'll review it dito sa chat box. So if you have questions in mind along the way, during the discussion, feel free to write it down in our chat box. Okay? Sasagutin natin lahat ng questions. And then let's start. I'll share my screen now. Okay, so in 2.5 to 3 hours, so we'll have to we'll try to discuss the all of the modules in developing a franchise program. So, and at the same time, since we are into the new normal, no, so we'll include also strategies in relevance to digital technologies. Kasi of course, digital marketing is not only or the e-commerce is not only applicable for the retail, no, even for service, and at the same time, even in selling the franchise, digital marketing is the most efficient strategy, no, ngayong merong tayong pandemic. And even after the pandemic, that will be the new norm of selling services, selling products, or in retail businesses. Okay, so before we start, I will just share with you in one slide the field of consultation of JGS consultancy. And at the same time, these are the topics, no, of our webinar. So as mentioned, franchising, no, for business expansion strategies, but we also conduct webinars for co-ownership and distribution program development. And then I am also into financial analysis and strategy. So some of the companies engage with me. For example, if they want to sell their business or one of the branches of their business, so we develop business valuation. So we do strategies for companies to strategize in relevance to expansion, in relevance to cost-cutting measures para sa pandemic. And then since I'm also into food business, so I also conduct webinars for restaurant and commissary operations. And discussion also in government compliances for taxation, local permits, government mandated benefits, and labor standards. And as mentioned by Ms. Daryl, no, so most of our webinars actually are into digital marketing. So we have webinars for e-commerce strategies and social media advertising. Okay, so this will be the outline of our webinar. So the first one is we'll have a brief introduction about franchising. So we'll of course define the franchising, and we'll discuss the advantages of franchising to both parties, the franchisor and the franchisee. And then as we prepare to expand our business using the franchise, what will be the basic requirements, no, for us to use this method. And then another important step in expanding our business using the franchise is the assessment of our existing business, of our existing business model. So we check the franchisability. So we will have a discussion about franchisability assessment. And then for the second module, the modern franchise business plan. So this is basically the first part of the franchise program, preparation of the business plan. So it's more on preparation of the financial model sa business planning, no? So that's why we start with sales forecasting. So this is the top line of the financial model. And of course, from the gross sales na forecast, we do cost of sales analysis, no? So we develop strategies in order for us to have higher margin, kasi since we will be having franchisees, dapat maganda yung margin natin kasi we will be sharing the margin with the franchisee. Hindi pwedeng masyadong manipis yung margin natin to start with. That's why normally when we engage with our clients, binabalikan namin yung costing lahat. Kung pwede pang ma-improve yung costing, for example into food. So sa food business, normally, we recommend to have commissary for food franchising. So in the commissary, we have to check all of the direct cost. So that includes, of course, the raw materials and the labor cost and other direct utilities. So yun yung pinag-uusapan sa cost of sales analysis. So we'll have a discussion on that later. And then the franchise investment package. Kasi this is the first question of the franchisee. How much? So as much as possible, we will optimize the investment package. Kasi we have to check all of the costing, all of the setup costs, and at the same time, we will do benchmarking also. Diba? We have to check kung ano yung costing, ano yung package ng competition. Okay? Specifically for the franchise industry. Okay. Next, ano yung mga fees in franchising? Okay, so hindi natin hinuhulaan yung mga fees. For example, royalty fees, franchise fee. So, hindi tayo pwedeng titingin lang sa competition. Kung, for example, may mga similar na kiosk business for franchise, ang franchise fee is 100,000, ay, 100,000 na rin kami. Hindi yun pwedeng ganun kasi we have different types of strategies, different costing strategies. So iba't ibang procedures for every brand and every business model. So hindi pwedeng puro benchmarking lang. Okay? So we start with the computation and then we do benchmarking. Same goes with royalty fee, advertising fee, and renewal fee. So we'll also discuss anong difference ng mga to at anong purpose ng mga fees na to. Okay? And then, sabi ko nga, the first question of the franchisee is how much. After that, the next question is kailan yung return. Okay? Kailan yung payback period? Ano yung ROI? Okay? So we have to discuss that. And then, a very important factor for developing a franchise model is the balance between the franchisor, the franchisee, and the consumer. So, sabi ko nga kanina, 'di ba? Dapat maganda yung margin natin. If you are into food business, as much as possible, no, depending on the branding activities, branding strategies, of course, no. If you have a margin, let's say na 70%, okay, 30% ang food cost mo, you have 70% margin. So, kung pwedeng ibigay natin ang 50% sa franchisee, may iwan sa atin 20 or pwedeng 55 and 25. So, dapat to start with, maganda yung margin natin. Pero, of course, we have to check also the competitiveness of the selling price, no, sa consumer. Kasi, of course, pwede natin taasan yung margin. Kung ang cost mo is 20 pesos, ibenta mo ng 200 pesos yan, you have 10% food cost, 'di ba? 90% ang margin. Sobrang ganda ng margin pero baka hindi na siya competitive. So we have to balance from the production, no, sa profitability of the franchisor hanggang kay franchisee, gaano ka profitable si franchisee, and pagdating kay customer, no, nandun ba yung value for money? Okay, so we have to do that balance. So it's more on numbers, no, it's more on financial modeling. So that's the first part of the franchise program. The second part of the franchise program, but the third module of this discussion, is the operations manual. So it serves as the guide, the Bible of the franchisee in running the day-to-day operations of a particular branch. Okay? So hindi pwedeng naubusan ng stocks. Tatawag pa sa inyo sa franchisor, paano kami o-order? Okay? May dumating na senior citizen na gusto mag-avail ng senior citizen discount. Wala tayong alam, hindi pa tayo na-train, wala sa manual. Tatawag tayo kay franchisor, no? So, with all of these procedures, no, especially pagdating sa technical operations into food, for example, beverage preparation procedures, kitchen procedures, inventory management, dapat lahat yan nandyan sa manual. Okay? So that you will be guided, no? Kasi especially there will be times na nagpapalit ng tao. So kahit tayo as a franchisee, no? As a franchisee, we can retrain existing staff or employees, or pwede rin tayo mag-train ng mga bago. Kasi tayo as a franchisee, trained na rin tayo ng franchisor. And we are guided with this manual. Okay? And Attorney Familaran will discuss part of this kasama sa franchise agreement. Okay. The fourth module, but the third part of the franchise program, is the franchise agreement. Okay? So we'll have a discussion about legalities in the franchise agreement. This will be discussed by Attorney Familaran. Okay? So after my first three modules, si Attorney Ton for the fourth one, and lastly, for sales and digital marketing, babalik ulit ako. Okay? So, let's start with the first module, Introduction to Franchising. Okay? Again, this webinar is recorded, no? So, by next week, we will send you the recording of this discussion, of this webinar. And at the same time, this deck, this presentation will also be sent to you over via email by Miss Daryl. Okay? For the video recording pala, so we will send it sa via Google Drive. So dapat Gmail account ang ibigay nyo sa amin para we can share the link of the recording. Okay? So what is franchising? So as mentioned, this is just a method of expanding a business. Expansion strategy, 'di ba? We can expand using distribution program. We can expand using co-ownership program. We can also expand our business by establishing a new company-owned branch. Kaya lang, magastos yun, di ba? Kung puro ikaw ang nagpapaluwal or nag-i-invest sa kada branch na itatayo natin, magastos yun and medyo mahirap pagdating sa operations. Okay. But in franchising, kaya siya very popular, not only in the Philippines, but globally. Franchising is a very popular expansion method because of several advantages. Okay. But this method of expansion is we allow someone, okay, the franchisee, we allow someone to use our name as a franchisor. They use our name, okay, and they use our system. Siyempre, as a franchisor, no, we have to have, of course, the sources of revenue. Okay? Kasi, again, if we are into food business, pag pumunta tayo sa food franchising, ang revenue sources natin, hindi na yung sales ng products natin. Okay? Ang revenue sources ng franchise company is on the franchise fee, royalty fee, and other fees na may apply to your business. Okay? And of course, we can have sales from products. Okay? Margins from transfer of products. For example, if we are into food, then we have a commissary. So when we transfer the product to the franchisee, we have margins on that. Okay? So yun yung mga sources of revenue for the franchisor. Okay? So given that the three main elements of a franchise is the use of name, use of system, and payment of fees. So lagi ito magkakasama. Okay. So meaning, if we allow someone, the franchisee will be using our name, dapat tayong legitimate na owner ng trademark natin, ng name natin kasi ina-allow natin sila. So i-register natin sa Intellectual Property Office. So this will be discussed also by Attorney Familaran. Use of system. The reason why the franchisee is investing in a franchise, no? Kasi ayaw niya na mag-start from scratch, 'di ba? Mahirap mag-start ng business from scratch. You have to do the product development, you have to do the location assessment, and from all of the operations, lahat ng procedures from HR, marketing, operations, lahat yun, i-develop mo from scratch. But in franchising, as mentioned, mayroon ng manual, may training pa, may guidance pa from the franchisor. So, it's very critical na existing ang system. Okay? Bakit ko ito hina-highlight? Maraming pseudo-franchisors, okay, na sabi nila franchise business, pero walang system. Okay? So, pagka-invest ni franchisee, susuplayan lang ng products and then that's it. Tapos na, bahala na sila, reorder na lang. Wala nang support system, walang systems in place or walang developed system na iduduplicate sa particular branch. Okay? So it's very important na we develop a system for your specific business model. Okay? So there are two parties in franchising, of course, the franchisor and the franchisee. So the franchisor, tayo, is of course, we own the concept. Tayo nag-develop ng concept, pinatakbo natin yung business, and then eventually, we document all of the procedures, no? Dinevelop natin yung products or services, and we develop the brand. Okay? So tayo ang owner ng concept and brand. And then, sabi nga natin, documented lahat. The manual, the systems, no? So, kaya natin dinodocument kasi we will duplicate the system, the existing system, to the branch of the franchisee. So that the chicken, okay, of isang sikat na fried chicken brand, okay? Ang lasa ng fried chicken dito sa Pasig, the same lang ng lasa sa fried chicken sa General Santos. Okay? Ang gravy doon sa Jensan, the same lang yung lasa sa gravy sa Pampanga. Okay? It's because of the systems in place. Okay? Consistency is very critical in franchising. Bakit yung kung napanood nyo na yung The Founder, 'di ba? McDonald's na movie. So as they started the franchising, no, ang ibang branches nag-o-offer ng chicken burrito. Okay? Merong ang iba nag-o-offer ng corn cob on sticks, di ba? So malayong malayo sa brand. Okay? So dapat maayos yung system, and at the same time may support system tayo to the franchisee coming from the franchisor, and at the same time we monitor them, okay, na they comply with our standards. Otherwise, magkakaroon ng inconsistencies. Masisira yung brand natin. Okay? Again, this is an expansion strategy for us as the franchisor. But for the franchisee, no, this is an opportunity to be their own boss, or to be your own boss. Magiging negosyante sila even without the technical background in running a business. Okay? Restaurant, kahit wala akong background sa pagpapatakbo ng restaurant, pwede ako magtayo ng restaurant with a franchise model. Kasi iti-train ako. Kasi i-guide nila ako. Okay? So, madaling maging negosyante kapag may franchise business. Then, the support system coming from the franchisor. So, you are in a business for yourself, but not by yourself. Okay? So, the support is very critical kasi nga dapat consistent. But at the same time, we support the franchisee kasi it's a partnership, 'di ba? Remember the sources of revenue, royalties, transfer of products. Kung hindi bebenta ang franchisee natin, wala tayong royalty fee na i-collect. Kung hindi bebenta ang branch natin, hindi tayo magsusupply ng products. So we really have to support the franchisees. Okay? Para maayos yung performance ng branch nila. And of course, the franchisee provides capital, manpower, and time. Okay. So, ano ang advantages ng business model na to, ng franchise model? So first, sa franchisor muna, and then after that sa franchisee. So, sabi ko nga, this is a very popular expansion strategy because of these advantages. So number one, this is a source of fund for expansion. So, yung lagi ko ang kinikwento sa mga clients ko, no, when I started Pickup Sticks, ang investment lang talaga namin is actually around 150,000 to start the first branch. Okay. So, of course, the kiosk fabrication, mga gamit, and then advance rental and deposit. So, ganun lang. Then from there, nagbuebenta na siya. And then, nakapag-branch out kami, tapos nakapag-open pa kami ng franchise. So, nakapag-generate kami ng fund. Pero ang naging issue namin during that time, wala pa kaming commissary kasi when we started the first branch, sa bahay lang yung production. Di-deliver na namin sa branch na ready to cook na lahat. Pero, nung nagkaroon na kami ng 4 branches, hindi na kaya sa bahay. So, tapos we will start expanding rapidly by using franchise model. Nag-decide na kami, okay, magko-commissary na kami. So, hanap kami commissary. Tapos, syempre, pag nag-start ka na ng commissary, medyo kailangan ng capitalization. Siyempre, for the construction, lahat ng mga furnitures, mga equipment, lahat. Including the advance rental and deposit. So, for our first commissary, ang kailangan namin was 800,000. So, maglalabas ba kami or gagawin namin ng strategy? So, ang ginawa kong strategy during that time, ang franchise fee namin was 160,000. Okay, 160 ang franchise fee namin. So, ang ginawa kong strategy, for the first 10, okay, hindi nakasama yung mga nauna. For this specific period, first 10 na franchisee, we will offer 50% discount. So, 80,000 from 160, 80,000 times 10, 800,000. So, easy. In 1 month, nakuha namin yung 800,000 kasi there's a sense of urgency. First 10 lang eh. 50% na franchise fee. In 3 weeks time, nakapag-generate kami ng 10 new franchisees and then nakapag-generate kami ng 800,000. So without investing from our own pocket, 'di ba? Nakapag-put up kami ng isang commissary. So, and that is enough to support the expansion. And then eventually, nung dumami na yung branches, we transferred again to a bigger one. Pero syempre, may fund na yon. So, this is a good source of fund for expansion, especially pag nilagyan pa natin ng mga strategies. Okay? And then, rapid brand and branch development. Kasi sabi ko nga, in franchising, hindi ikaw ang maglalagay ng pera. Kahit gaano pa kabilis natin gusto, kung limited yung resources natin, syempre, hindi natin ma-expand rapidly. But since the franchisee is the one investing in a specific branch, di ba? So, easily, you can expand, di ba? I-prepare lang natin yung support. I-prepare lang natin yung, for example, in the food business, dapat ready si commissary to supply sa mga branches. And then, economy of scale. So, we are very proud with this, no, na-develop namin to. Kasi, kami, barbecue concept, no? Marami nagtatanong sa akin na, paano kung ang franchisee namin gumawa ng sarili ng barbecue? Okay? Okay. So, that's a common issue for new franchisors, not only into food, no? Especially sa mga services na medyo mahirap i-monitor. Minsan, natetempt yung mga franchisee natin na mag-develop ng product, no? Similar to what we offer, what we supply. Pero of course, that's a violation to the franchise agreement. So it can be a ground for termination. Pero there are several factors na maiwasan natin yon. One of that is the economy of scale. Kami, we are very confident na even if ang franchisee namin gumawa ng sarili lang barbecue, we are sure na mas mahal pa yung barbecue na magagawa nila compared sa kaya naming isupply because of the economy of scale. Kung gagawa ng barbecue yung franchisee namin, bibili sila probably mga 20 kilograms ng pork. Okay? Kami, when we order, by ton. Okay? Imagine the volume, the difference in the volume, the difference in the pricing, no? And at the same time, meron pa kaming payment term. Okay? So that's the advantage of the economy of scale. Napapababa namin yung price, no? And so of course, nagkakaroon kami ng magandang relationship with our suppliers. Market penetration and saturation. As mentioned, rapid branch development, no? Mabilis na rin ang pag-penetrate ng isang market kahit inter-island pa yan. Pwede nating i-develop even without our physical presence, 'di ba? We can use master franchise program, so pwede yun. And then saturation. Pagtayo ka na, for example, sa Cebu, madali na yan i-expand in that particular area. As a franchisor, kahit madami kang branches, wala kang day-to-day responsibility in managing the branch. Kasi nga, we have the franchisee who do the day-to-day operations. Okay? Guided by our manual. Given that, ang organization ng franchise is very lean. Hindi mo kailangan mag-hire ng napakadaming tao. Kasi, ang i-hire natin is support to the franchisees. Okay? So, kami, in our operations, with 50 plus branches, ang franchise team namin is 6, including na ako. Okay? So, ganun kalin ang organization ng franchise. But of course, separate ang operation ng commissary. Yun ang medyo madaming tao kasi production. Okay? And at the same time, as you grow the business, as you grow the number of branches, you will have economy of scale. But you can also create new business opportunities. No? Habang dumadami na dumadami yung branches mo, maraming opportunities ang makukuha natin. We can create new businesses. So for example, in our case, no, our franchisees ask help from us to register their business. Pero hindi naman namin binibigay yan as a service kasi wala naman silang time to register their business. Medyo hassle from SEC or DTI, Barangay, City Hall, BIR, SSS, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig. So kung wala silang experience, masyadong tedious yung processing. So humihingi sila ng tulong. So with that, I created a new business, yung JGH Professional Solutions. Okay? So we created a new business out of that need na nakuha namin from the number of branches that we have. Another one is supply of the uniform. So kami na rin nagsusupply ng mga uniform. And other opportunities na you can create as you grow the business, as you grow the number of branches, as you grow the number of employees ng mga franchisees natin. Okay? And then, ano naman ang advantage to the franchisees? Bakit sila mag-franchise? Bakit hindi na lang sila mag-start ng business from scratch? Okay? So, number one is the concept, no? Siyempre, the concept is already proven, di ba? Pinaandar na yan ng franchisor, again, dinocument, inayos. Si franchisor yung dumaan sa karayom para ma-establish yung business. Okay? And then, documented, ibibigay na lang sa franchisee. So, ikaw as a franchisee, you don't need to develop the products, no? To develop the service offering from scratch. So, ready na siya. Okay? At the same time, the franchisee can, of course, capitalize on the value of the brand. Hindi na magpapakilala ng sarili nilang brand. Existing na yung brand and may brand equity na. And of course, it has a direct benefit in generating sales and awareness campaign. The systems and procedures are already in place and documented. Okay? So, gagayahin na lang ni franchisee because of the operations manual. Training and operational support provided by the franchisor. Imagine, nagpapatakbo ng negosyo si franchisee para siyang may consultant na tumutulong sa kanya. Okay. Pag send nila ng financial report, income statement for this month, makikita ni franchisor, teka lang, ang taas ng wastage mo. Okay? Check the storage. Check the yield of your products. Baka mamaya nananakawan ka. Okay? So that's part of the support that we offer to the franchisees. Kasi tayo as a franchisor, may experience na tayo sa pagpapatakbo ng negosyo natin. Si franchisee, wala pang experience. So kung ano man yung mga challenges nila, nandun tayo to support them. So para tayong consultant to the franchisees. Okay? And of course, we provide the training. Location assessment is very critical, especially sa mga businesses na kailangan ng foot traffic. Okay? So that's very critical. Marketing support, those, of course, technical din ang marketing. So, tayo as a franchisee, for example, the franchisee, wala masyadong idea in doing digital marketing. Walang idea in creating digital collaterals. The franchisor will be there to provide that support. Okay? The franchisor has the capability to hire team for marketing. Yung may mga experience talaga. Pero the franchisee, wala silang capability of doing that. Kasi nga, because of the smaller operations. Continuing visit and consultation, kasama yan sa operational support. No? And then, given this, the success rate of franchise, okay, of a franchise investment, of a franchise business is 90% because of these advantages. The startup is 20%. Ang taas ng risk. Okay? Ang taas ng risk ng startup kasi wala pa tayong, si franchisee, wala pa masyadong idea sa pagpapatakbo ng negosyo. Baka 3 months pa lang na pangit ang performance, ifo-fold na nila. Okay? So, yun ang advantages ng franchise to the franchisor and to the franchisees. Okay? So, ano yung mga requirements as we decided, for example, to franchise our business? Number one is the trademark registration. So, yung sinasabi ko kanina. So, we have to register our brand in Intellectual Property Office. Okay? And then, we normally recommend to have a separate corporation intended for franchising. So, the purpose of that is that will be discussed by Attorney Familaran. And then, a professional franchise program. Okay, so that's why kami as consultants for franchise, doon kami pumapasok to prepare the franchise program para at least maayos when we franchise our business. Strategic plan is also very critical. No, it's separate from the franchise program, but in relevance to strategic plan, for example, you are into food business, dapat naka-align lahat. Even the commissary, naka-align yan lahat. The HR, the marketing, the operations, lahat yan, the finance, aligned sa expansion program. Otherwise, baka maiwan yung back office, baka maiwan yung back end. Kasi ang franchising, as mentioned, expansion strategy, frontline yan. Puro sales and marketing yan. So, benta lang ng benta. Baka mamaya maiwan yung back end natin. Okay? So, strategic plan is very important before we expand our business. And of course, a franchisable concept. Okay? A franchisable brand. So, paano natin masasabi if our brand, if our business is franchisable or not? So, ito yon. So, we have the following criteria. Okay? I-check natin. Not necessarily na lahat kayo meron na nito. Okay? Normally, ang mga brands na new for franchising, hindi complete. But along the way, we have to develop this. Okay? These factors. Number one is the credibility of the brand. When we say credibility of the brand, especially in the digital era, unang titinan kaagad dyan is your presence in social media. Okay, so yung brand mo, ito yung pangalan mo, titinan niya ng prospective franchisee. Pagtingin nila sa Facebook mo, ang likes mo nasa 200 pa lang. Okay? Tapos yung mga post kokonti lang. So makikita nila na hindi active yung brand sa social media. Okay? Pag nakita nila sa Instagram, wala pa kayo. So, bagsak na kagad sa credibility. Okay? So, we have to be present and professionally present in social media. Okay? So, as much as possible, to begin with, at least meron tayong mga around 2,000, no? 2,000 na followers or likes. Okay? Then along the way, i-grow na lang natin yon with several strategies. Both Facebook and Instagram. And then, I normally recommend na dapat meron na tayong website. Okay? Website. Kasi yun ang titingnan talaga ng mga franchisee. If you are into service or retail, we can have e-commerce na. Okay? Para at least makita na doon yung mga products and then transactions can be done in that particular e-commerce website. Okay? So, in relevance to credibility is, again, presence natin sa digital, social media, and website. Next is, of course, the credibility of the owners. Kasi tatanungin, mag-due diligence yung franchisee. Sino ba ang owner ng brand na to? So pag nakita niya yung owner, tapos, uy, very professional, ito yung background ng owner ng brand na to. So makakatulong to sa amin. Okay? So that's also very critical. I-check nila yung profile ng owner. Okay? Next is the selling proposition. Okay? What makes you different from the competition? Okay? Ano yung competitive edge natin over the similar brands? Okay? So, sorry if there are milk tea na concept, milk tea owners dito, no? Marami nagpapa-consult sa akin na milk tea. Diba? Ang dami-dami ng milk tea. So, yun ang unang question ko sa kanila. Ano yung difference mo from other milk tea brands? Okay? Not necessarily on the product, pwedeng positioning mo, pwedeng yung style ng store mo, at least meron kang unique identity. Okay? If you can have differentiation in terms of product offering, then well and good. Basta, alam natin yung USP natin and alam natin kung para kanino na target market. Hindi pwedeng all of the broad audience, A, B, C, D, and E, tatargetin natin. Hindi pwede. Dapat specific na target market. Okay? Sorry. Next is the ease of knowledge transfer. Okay? Gaano kabilis natin ititrain yung franchisee? Okay? Imagine if ang concept mo is dental clinic. Okay? Tapos, ang kinuha mong franchisee is hindi dentist. Okay? Ahente kunwari ng pharma, kinuha mo. So, ititrain mo yon 4 years or 3 years. Di ba? Para mapatakbo niya yung dental clinic. Okay? So, Asuncion. Pero, that's basically the factor that we have to consider in terms of knowledge transfer. So, that's why, inaayos natin yung procedures na dapat, as much as possible, madaling matutunan ng franchisee para consistent ang products or service offered. So even in the food business, no, hindi rin pwedeng from scratch lahat. Okay? Imagine, kunwari lang, crispy pata. Okay. Kung crispy pata, papakuluan pa yan, tapos ida-dry pa, tapos i-freezer pa, tapos lulutuin. So, ganun siya ang procedure from scratch. So, dapat ang gagawin from the commissary of the franchisor, prepared na siya para pagdating kay franchisee, i-deep fry na lang. Okay? Even the sauces, okay, yung mga sauces, dapat hindi from scratch. Naka-premix na siya. Okay? Para madaling i-transfer yung knowledge and at the same time, magkakaroon tayo ng mapipreserve natin yung proprietary items. Okay? Yung recipe ng menu offering natin is very critical. Hindi pwedeng ibigay natin yung recipe. Otherwise, gumagawa lang tayo ng kalaban natin. Okay, that's why ginagawa sa commissary is premix na lahat. Even that chicken na sinasabi ko, na sikat na chicken, yung gravy, naka-premix na yan. Tapos, i-expand na lang sa tawag nito, sa store. Yung mga breading, premix 1, premix 2. So, lahat premix na. Even the chicken, naka-marinate na yan, pre-marinated na yan bago i-deliver sa branch na yon. Para ang gagawin sa branch, assembly na lang. So, assembly procedures. Mas madali gawin at protected yung proprietary items natin. Okay? So, there are several strategies na dinidevelop for this. Okay. Adaptability. So, dapat ang concept natin can be offered to different types of customers. Okay. Pwedeng to different types of areas. Or, pwedeng kahit may pandemic, pwedeng i-offer. Okay? So, dapat adaptable yung concept natin na continuing yung demand for that particular concept. Another important factor is a successful prototype. Dapat may existing branch as much as possible. Kasi nga, di ba, sabi natin, we are providing a proven systems and procedures to the franchisees. Dinuduplicate natin. Eh kung wala kang existing na branch, paano natin masasabi na proven ang systems, proven yung product development. Okay? Kung wala tayong existing na successful prototype. Okay? And of course, i-check yan ng franchisee. As mentioned, proprietary items. Dapat i-protect natin yan kasi this is the continuing value. It provides continuing value. Meaning, even after the contract, the term of the contract, after 4 years or 5 years, for example, magre-renew pa rin sila sa atin. Bakit? Hindi naman nila alam yung detail ng sa operations natin. Yung secret recipe, hindi rin nila alam. Okay? So we have to protect that. And then investment affordability. Okay? So the higher the investment, of course, syempre, mas konti ang pwede mag-invest sa atin. Mas mura, mas madami mag-i-invest. So dapat magawa ng strategy to make it affordable and competitive yung investment package. Profitability, okay? And of course, kasama niyan is the return of investment. The higher the margin, the higher the profitability, the faster the return. Okay? So, kaya nga inaayos yan before we develop the program, dapat maayos yung costing. Okay? Not necessarily na we have to get your recipe, but we have to check the costing. Okay? And then, of course, dapat long-term ang market potential. Hindi uso-uso lang. Nauso ngayon yung ganitong concept kasi mainit. Okay, mainit, summer, 2 months, putok yung concept na yon. Pagdating ng rainy season, wala na. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng i-franchise yung ganong business model. Okay? So, for the program, in creating the program for the franchise, of course, you can always create your own franchise program, no, based on your experience. So, ito yung basics na modules. So, from the assessment and alignment, no, gagawa na ng business plan, and then the financial model, the financial structure of the franchisee and the franchisor, so 3 and 4. And then after the 2, 3, and 4, gagawa na ng franchise agreement. So, nandito lahat ng provisions for the relationship ng franchisor and the franchisee. And the manual, okay, of course, as mentioned, and the sales and marketing plan. The sales and marketing plan is for the franchise sales and marketing. How can we develop franchise leads? Okay? If you are into food business, hindi ito sales and marketing ng products natin. This is sales and marketing of the franchise. Naghahanap tayo ng magpa-franchise. Okay? So that's a different type of marketing strategy.